It happened in China. They were filming from inside their home, watching the sky twist into chaos. At first, just strong winds. Then everything changed. The tornado grew fast. Glass shook and fear spread. It started slowly, a trickle, then a rush. The streets of Chile were swallowed by water. Cars, homes, trees, everything was swept away. People watched in stunned silence, helpless as the flood tore through their city. On the road in the middle of nowhere, the sky turned black, wind howled like a beast, and in Brazil the storm was just beginning. They were swimming in the rooftop pool, a peaceful moment in the heart of Thailand. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The pool rippled violently. Panic screams echoed as the building swayed. They scrambled to escape, but the quake had already taken hold. The wind howled stronger than ever. As the camera rolled, a dog dashed by. Then the gust took hold. It was all over in seconds. On the road in Louisiana, the wind howled louder by the second. The camera captured it all. When suddenly a small prefab house was torn from its foundation. It was lifted into the air, spinning out of control. In moments, the calm was shattered.
Oh my God!
The sky isn't looking pretty at all. Ooh. Strange looking sky.
In Louisiana, the wind was picking up fast. One person was recording the chaos unfolding. Then, without warning, a small prefab house was ripped from its foundation. The wind was so powerful, the house was tossed around like a toy. The ground shook, trees were uprooted, and the house kept flying through the air. In just moments, everything changed. The storm raged, fury in every gust. A man stood helpless in his garage. Then the roof caved in. Before he could react, the wind seized it, lifting the debris into the sky. It was gone in seconds. He stood in the middle of the road, his camera pointed straight at the storm. The sky twisted, darkened, and the wind screamed like a beast. The ground shook beneath him, but he couldn't look away. The tornado was coming fast, and he was right in its path.
Like, seriously, right now.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Get inside!
Should I go open the door?
No, it's all open!
The wind howled, stronger than ever. Trees were uprooted, and everything in its path was torn apart. Chaos in every direction. He was driving down the highway when the sky suddenly darkened. In the distance, a tornado formed, twisting and growing rapidly. He slammed on the brakes, but the storm was moving faster. The wind howled, pushing his car off course. With every second, it got worse. There was no way to outrun it. The tornado was coming straight for him. It started slowly, almost unnoticed, a trickle at first, then a rush. As water began to fill the streets of Chile, it came faster than anyone could react. Cars were swept away, homes were submerged, and trees that once stood tall were carried off by the force. The flood seemed unstoppable, a relentless wave that took everything in its path. People stood frozen in disbelief, watching as their world was engulfed, shouting, crying. No one could help. Helpless, they could only watch as the tide swallowed their city whole. There was no escape. No place was safe.
Oh, wow. That's like 10 feet. He's gonna get it again.
Allá arriba.
It started as a trickle, barely noticeable. Then, without warning, it became a rush. Water flooded the streets of Chile, carrying everything in its path. Cars were swept away, homes disappeared, and trees that once stood tall were uprooted. The flood was relentless, unstoppable, sweeping through the city with fury. People could only watch in disbelief. He stood outside, watching in disbelief. Suddenly, the sky cracked open, and hail began to pound his car. Each stone hit with a deafening sound, shattering windows and denting the metal. He couldn't believe how fast it escalated. The storm was unforgiving, and his car was helpless.